Have you ever felt like this? You are on your way to an interview for a job at a company that you would love to work for. On the paper, the position you are being considered for fits perfectly with the experience that you have. You are more than qualified and the team would be lucky to have you. And maybe the hiring manager even said it to you up front. But as you head in to meet with your company's management, you start questioning yourself whether or not you are really capable of the job you are interviewing for. The resume you pass across the desk to your interviewer lists the job experience you have lived through, yet you feel like you are an actor playing the part of someone qualified enough to take on this role. And you start to worry that your performance won't be convincing enough. Your interviewer asks you questions that you have answers to, but you somehow feel that your responses are fake. Most of us have experienced feelings of doubt and unworthiness at some point in our lives. But when your accomplishments are a result of your own knowledge, hard work, and preparation, and you still feel inadequate, you are probably suffering from what experts call as impostor syndrome. According to a research, up to 70% of the people across the world have suffered from it at one point or another. But that doesn't make it any less damaging to a person's confidence and career growth. People who suffer from this syndrome often feel like they are frauds, despite being smart, skilled, capable professionals who actually deserve whatever appreciation, awards, and praises they have been given. Rather than celebrating their accomplishments, they worry that they have somehow tricked people into thinking they are good enough. And as a result, they always live in a fear of being found out or exposed. Imposter syndrome contributes to psychological distress, continued self-monitoring, increased self-doubt, and persistent fears of failure, and it can severely damage your work and personal life. So if you feel like you're suffering from imposter syndrome or something like it, know that there are ways to curb these feelings in a healthy and proactive way. Solving any of your problems starts with understanding why the problem exists. What are the reasons, and then planning ways to eliminate those reasons through initiative, advice, action, and commitment. So in this video, I will suggest you some simple ways to overcome such feelings, of course, from my personal experience and assimilating what experts have to suggest on this front. Please like this video so that it stays with you for future reference, and subscribe to our channel to continue accessing content that will help you to grow, succeed, and help you find solutions to your business and career issues. Know the signs. We often overlook the signs of imposter syndrome that come up in our day-to-day lives. However, recognizing these signs is the essential first step towards overcoming them. You might suffer from imposter syndrome if any of these is true about you. You feel like you got lucky when you actually prepared for it or worked hard for it. You find it hard to accept praise for yourself. You apologize for yourself when you didn't actually do something wrong. You hold yourself to incredibly high standards. You find the fear of failure paralyzing to you. You avoid expressing confidence because you think people will see it as your overconfidence or you being arrogant. You're convinced that you're not enough. Pay attention to your language choices both when you are talking to other people and when you are talking to yourself, especially when it comes to talking about your work. If you find your own success or the praise that others give you as uncomfortable, do some reflective thinking and introspection on where those types of thoughts are coming from and what it means in your professional life. When you have imposter syndrome, some of the most important encouragement comes from realizing how many hugely successful people, both male and female, have built amazing careers even while regularly coping with this syndrome. Let go of your inner perfectionist. Perfectionism, while helpful in certain contexts, can be a major roadblock for productivity. And it turns out that it can be a major roadblock for overcoming imposter syndrome too. Many people who suffer from imposter syndrome are high achievers. They are people who set extremely high standards for themselves and they are committed to doing their best and being the best. But perfectionism only feeds into your imposter syndrome. When you feel like that you're a fraud, it's usually because you're comparing yourself to some perfect outcome that's either impossible or unrealistic. Not only can no one do everything perfectly, but holding yourself to that standard can actually be super counterproductive. At some point, you need to take a step back and ask yourself, when is good enough good enough? So the bottom line is, while striving for perfection is certainly noble, it's usually not realistic and often it's counterproductive and will only make you feel more like a fraud. Be kind to yourself. Take the pressure off yourself and stop trying to be the expert from day one. Imposter syndrome often manifests itself as a voice in our heads, pushing us down with negative messages like, "You are not smart enough." Negative self-talk is a very bad habit and it can heavily influence our stress and anxiety levels. Being kind to yourself simply means changing the way you talk to yourself in your head by practicing positive self-talk. Not only can it help you become less stressful and less anxious, but it can also help you build the courage to do the things that bring you greater rewards. So first, try to catch yourself whenever you have a negative thought, and then turn around and challenge your own claim. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "Oh, I just got lucky," challenge that by thinking, what steps did I take and what work did I put in to get to this point? Then you can answer your own question using affirmations, which are short, focused, positive statements about a goal that you have. In this case, one might be as simple as, "I worked hard and I always work hard." Psychologists have found that repeating affirmations like this can improve stress and anxiety levels, perhaps because their positive statements build a bridge into your subconscious mind. And this one is very important. Track and measure your successes. When you feel like an imposter, one of the hardest things to do is to grasp how much of a role that you have in your own successes. You might default them to luck or others' hard work when in fact your own work, knowledge and preparation had a lot to do with it. To help you show yourself that you're actually doing well, keep a track of your wins in a private document. There are a lot of different ways to track these successes, and the metrics that you use will depend entirely on your job. Seek advice from your mentor or your manager. No one should suffer in silence. Sharing your thoughts and experiences with someone else will make you better equipped to deal with your imposter syndrome. I recommend sharing your thoughts with both your trusted mentor and your direct manager. Your mentor will be able to help you talk candidly about your struggles with the imposter syndrome while giving you a more objective point of view, especially if they work on a different team or at a different company. When you share your experience with them, you might ask if they have ever felt that way or if they know someone who has felt that way. The best mentors are forthcoming about the struggles that they have gone through and the mistakes that they have made in their careers. And you may find that they have some helpful stories or advice for how to deal with what you are feeling. I'd also suggest that you talk with your direct manager about your experiences. Why? Because they are more likely to have the knowledge and tools of helping you to overcome your imposter syndrome in the context of your current job. For example, you might ask them to help you find a system for tracking your successes or figuring out which metrics you should measure. Knowing what they know about you and your role may also help you seek out more opportunities to shine and gain visibility on your team or at your company in general. Say yes to new opportunities. It's impossible to say yes to everything, especially when you are feeling stressed. But it's all too common for people who have this imposter syndrome to turn down career making opportunities just because they don't feel like they would do a good job. So when you are presented with a new opportunity, it's important to distinguish between the voice in your head which is saying that you can't do it because you are not worthy, and the voice that is saying that you can't do it because you have too much on your plate. You can't do it or you are not worthy is the imposter syndrome. So remember, taking on challenging new work and doing well at it can open a lot of doors for you. So don't let your inner imposter turn down these game-changing opportunities. They can do wonders to help you learn, grow, and advance your career. I love a quote from Richard Branson of the Virgin Atlantic. He says, if someone offers you an amazing opportunity and you are not sure that you can do it, say yes and then learn how to do it later. While it might be intimidating to take on a role you are not sure you can succeed in, know that you were asked to do it for a particular reason. And there's nothing wrong with learning new things and asking the right questions along the way. It's really hard to get rid of imposter syndrome completely, especially if you have got it for years and years. The fact that hugely successful people feel that way after all they have accomplished is evidence that it can be sometimes a lifelong condition. That's why the best angle from which to tackle your imposter syndrome isn't getting rid of it completely, it's stopping it from hindering your success. Hope you found this useful. Please give us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done already, as we regularly post content to help you grow and succeed. Thanks for watching.